the screen. Jess, what's your favorite color again?
My favorite color. Let's go with red.
Not very appropriate and cool, but you make it work. Oh, so you don't have lights in the back. Of course. Wonderful. So, I don't actually think that's going to be very helpful for the writing,
No.
but fuck it, we are where we are. So, we're going to go over the 25 laws. Fundamentally, the bulk of you have a script. I need you to throw the script out the window. When it comes to sales, you are representing who you are and telling another person that you're able to do the work. And that doesn't come from a script. It comes from how you present yourself. I've got an incompetent person telling off the fucking things. That's just giants. Wonderful. So, who here knows any of the 25 rules? Hey, person with the Hitler sign. Just go like this.
Did you ask who doesn't know any of the 25 rules?
Who doesn't know any?
Oh, no, my bad.
Okay, wonderful. Are you South African?
No, I'm North African.
Well, one's a fucking country, the other one is the north of the continent.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, Algerian. Yeah.
Okay, wonderful, wonderful. So, we're going to go through a few of the laws, and if you have any questions, raise your hand, we'll get into it. Now, the first law is convo versus checklist. Now, the bulk of you are going to fuck up due to the fact that you have a script and you have a checklist. It is very easy to understand when someone is following a checklist because they're just going to say the same shit. And you're going to have a list of questions and you're not going to understand what you're asking. You're just going to ask a list of questions and your focus is going to be on the questions, not getting the responses, which is the whole point of the question, right? So in order to remove the checklist, right, and make it into a conversation, you need to understand what do you want from the conversation? What is your objective, right? So we have a question over here. I want the answer, but what is the reason to the answer? So as an example, I may say to a person, what are your margins? Right? They're going to say 20%. Now, what is the reason that I want to know their margins? Right? The reason I want to know their margins is like I want to know how much I can charge them. Right? Because if they're making 10K but their margins are 1K, I can't charge them 1K. So the whole purpose of this is to know how much I'm looking to charge. Now, next question I may ask is, what is your conversion rate? Now, the reason I ask for conversion rate is I want to know what percent will they close, right? But now, why do I want to know what percent will they close? Why do I want to know the conversion rate? The reason I want to know the conversion rate is I want to know, cool, you got a 25% conversion rate. That means from every 10 that I send you, right, you're going to close anywhere between 2 to 3. I'll be looking at this 2 to 3, understanding what are your margins, and based on that, I know how much I can charge you. Right? The bulk of you just ask these questions for no reason. You need to understand what is the reason behind why you're asking the questions. Once you understand what you are actually asking and what you are looking for, you'll then be able to iterate or portray what you're trying to say in many different words, right? Because while there may be 10 ways to ask someone's margins, there's many other ways to figure out how much to charge and how to figure out what percent to go with. Does that make sense? Right? And the only way to not get over the checklist is to have all the questions, let's say pre-written, and then have an understanding of what you are looking for. What is the end result that we're doing? Now, convo versus checklist, this typically applies to the introduction of a call. Let me just get a cloth and then we can go to that. right? By the way, can you guys read my handwriting?
Yeah.
All good, yeah.
By the way, if my spelling is off, just recognize I just assume I'm writing in a different type of English. Yes. So now, discovery. I call discovery positive rapport, which is one of the laws, right? So the laws are all intertwined into themselves. You need to be very good at 3 laws, and then you can start closing deals like, at a high level. There's 25 laws, pick 3. One of them is separate, I'll get into that. But the other 24, you can pick 3, get good at them, you'll close deals, right? Discovery is the introduction. Now, when it comes to convo versus checklist, why do we ask a discovery? Fundamentally, it is to qualify, right? It is to qualify my prospect. I want to know, what is your closing rate? How many deals do you have? Also known as experience points, right? How much do you charge? Are you competent? And also for negative rapport, to know if I'm dealing with an intellectual buyer versus a normal person, right? This is the typical reason on why we ask the beginning questions from the checklist. The true reason for all of us here is we need to know how much is in a motherfucker's bank account. Yes? How much do you have in the bank? Then based on that, we need to know if they have a good conversion rate or a bad conversion rate. And we need to understand the history of the business to know whether we're going to do a logical sale to an intellectual buyer or whether we're going to pull pay. Right? So that's a whole point of the discovery. Who are you? Where are you at? Because depending on where you're at, it's depending how I'm going to sell to you and what I'm going to do to get my money off of you. You guys have to understand and have this type of approach to money. You need to understand that your prospect across the screen has that, your money in their bank account. For some strange reason, it's ended up there. It's actually yours. It's not theirs, right? And you need to figure out how are you going to get it out of their pocket. And in order to do that, you need to ask the correct qualifying questions to know whether or not they're a good fit. Now, on the basis that you know your market, you'll be able to figure out if someone is a bad fit from the beginning, which is only if they don't have money in their bank account. Now, Sarah, what do we do if someone doesn't have money in their bank account?
Take out a loan.
Okay, let's assume that they don't qualify for anything because they're just retards. They
Disqualify them.
No. Yes, disqualify them, yes. But then what do we do? We practice one of the laws. We will pick one law because we recognize we're not getting money off this person's stupid, cool, fuck it, let me practice. Right? You're going to pick one of the laws. Granted, we've only gone over one of them. You're going to pick one of the laws and you're just going to practice 2 shit. I recommend negative rapport because it's the hardest one to practice because everyone is too scared to make people cry. Which I don't, the crying is a very beautiful act. It's very natural. I don't care why people are scared. Yeah? So that's an introduction to convo versus checklist. Now, looking at questions. Claudia, what's your question?
It was just for previously, but so you decide what you charge when you're on the call.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Sweet. Thank you.
But no. Why? Let's see if you understood. Why do you decide on the call how much you charge?
Because you know what their conversion rate is and how much they have in their bank.
Yes. But now we're going to go into calculus calculated, which is one of the laws. For some of you, like when you're getting started, stick to a fixed price because you won't be able to do the maths quick enough. Right? As you get more accustomed to things, you can do quick maths and then you can just decide how much to charge people.
Okay, thank you.
And there is only one proper way, and this is going to sound cunty, but it's true. There's one way to decide how much to charge, and that's how much money is in their bank account. Right? But now, what you have to understand, for many of you, you have to do it correctly. Right? Let's imagine that they have 20,000 in their bank account. Fuck it, I want 10. Right? I want 10K. If a lead is worth $500, right, per lead, I cannot charge 10K per lead because that is not the market value of a lead. I cannot fuck with this. This I cannot play too much with. I can play a little bit, but not too much. So what I need to do is I need to package this in a group of 20, sub 20 leads, get that 10K. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Wonderful. Now, next question, we have Sofiane.
Yeah. I have two questions. So, first of all, when you talk about positive rapport and like the questions that you're asking, are they kind of just understanding what kind of scenario the person is in?
Yes and no. It's a maths. You figure out the maths and the probability of success with them, right? So you need to look at where they're at. The classical thing is where are you and where you're trying to get to, right? In order to know how I can help you, I need to know your conversion rate. I need to know your margins. I've hopped on calls with with prospects where it was a perfect call. I'm about to close them, and then I stop the call, and I'm like, this maths doesn't make sense. And they're like, what do you mean? I can't work with you. He said, what do you mean? Based on how much I'm charging, based on how much you're making, your margins, all of this, and I did the maths for them on that call, right?
Yeah.
We could be doing better than perfect, and it still wouldn't be worth you paying us, right? And that was because their margins were too low per deal.
Okay. So just to kind of clarify, when you're talking about positive rapport, you mentioned that it's like understanding where they are, understanding the maths, and understanding where they want to go.
Yes.
Okay.
This is a typical introductory. Why are you on the call? What have you done to get, because it's why you're on the call, they say, for more business. What have you done to get new business? Okay, from these methods, how many deals have you closed? Okay, you've got 4 methods, you closed 20 deals. What is the split between all of those deals and the methods that you've tried? Okay, wonderful. Now, what's the total value on these deals or a price per deal on average that you're getting? Okay, what are the margins on those deals? Okay, perfect. Now, what's the actual conversion rate from the amount of leads that you get to how many you close? Okay, wonderful. Now, what can we do to improve that, so on and so forth?
Okay.
Right? It's just you go down the rabbit hole, but one question will give you the answers to everything. And once you truly understand someone's business, you then have the option of going into negative rapport or straight into presentation when you're dealing with an intellectual buyer.
Okay. And that actually segues kind of nicely into the next question is dependent on what kind of answers are you looking for in the positive rapport building to decide whether it's going to be an intellectual sell or an emotional one?
So an intellectual sale is nice and simple. Money doesn't matter to them.
Okay.
Now, how much is your product?
I sell as paper. It was paper appointment, so
How much do you charge a product?
2,000.
Okay, my dinners cost more than that. Making me an intellectual buyer, right? Because you cannot emotionally sell me on 2K because it's fucking retarded, because it's benign, right? When a business is flowing money or when someone is familiar with money, firstly, how are you going to make someone bad? A great example is roofing, right? Roofing, we're looking at 1 million, right, as average revenue, right? So the owner knows that they're making 1 million more than most businesses in the fucking world, right? Or just they're running 1 million in cash. How are you going to make him feel that? What are you going to do? Why aren't you trying? The fuck is at 1 million?
Yeah.
You're likely to insult him more than anything, and you have to understand, cool, it's 1 million. Let's say they've got 200,000 in the bank. All you have to do is logically explain how, give me 5,000, right? This goes up. Simple. They do not have an emotional attachment to this. It's a logical thing, right? Another way to put it, it's a bit exaggerated, it doesn't apply always. They are operating in abundance, not in scarcity. Whereas someone who is not familiar with money is operating in scarcity and as such is not an intellectual buyer. They're operating on emotion because the money makes a difference.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Awesome.
GT.
Oh, great. So in the real estate niche, like what are some of the questions to bring out negative report or bring out pain?
No. When it comes to pain, it's always the same, right? Jordan Peterson said it fucking best. You can be doing more and you know it. Right? And that's what we're shoving down their throat. But now it can never be me saying to you, JT, you can be doing more. Right? It's JT, could you be doing more?
Oh.
Could you be pushing yourself? You say yes. So why aren't you? What's stopping you? Right? Because on the basis that this is our prospect, right? They're going to say it's the market. it's the agencies,
Right.
it's whatever fucking bullshit, right? We need, it's not the market, it's not the agency. You need to accept the fact that it's you. Because there's other people out there who are doing better than you are, and you're not fucking doing enough. And the second that they accept that it is them, you can, do not take this as a classic line. You can hit them with a, well, look, if you haven't done it before, what's going to change? What one call with me, you're not going to change. And you need them to be in a position where they say, no, of course not. I need something else, right? And that's when a human is raw. That is when a human is saying, yes, I can't do more and I need help. To recognize that I'm in the shit and I need someone to get me out of the shit. Right now, obviously, you need other laws that work in well to allow you to come across as an individual who can fix their problems. But on the basis that you've got that covered, you get someone to open up saying, I'm not good enough, right? That's when you're making money. Another factor is so many of you guys will fuck up because you will try to be this person's friend, right? Oh, it's okay. Yeah, it's the market. Yeah, that makes sense. All this kind of dog shit, right? Absolute dog shit. If you tell someone, yeah, that's really awesome. I get that. You're doing really well. Why the fuck would they work with you? Right? Why would they work with you? You are equal to them, if not below them. Right? But when you berate somebody and you make them feel from this big to this big, not in a bad way, but making them see the truth of their current situation. Yes? Only then do you recognize their problem. Only then do you see the truth that they hide from the rest of the world. And only then are they in a position to be comfortable to let go of control and let you push them forward. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. So to be like the authority figure to show them what they're doing wrong, like how they can improve. Like,
of course, because the fact of the matter is, yeah, imagine someone walking into therapy and tell the fucking therapist, I don't have any problems. So why the fuck are you sitting opposite the therapist? Right?
Yeah.
Why are they hopping onto calls with you guys? Their egos will not allow them to just open up and say, I'm in this shit. It happens sometimes, but not often. Right? So you need to put them or structure in a position and guide them down the rabbit hole so they're comfortable relinquishing their ego and telling you, look, I have a problem and I need you to fix it. Right? But sure, that's done by all the other laws that we're going to come.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Wonderful. Adrian?
So, as I'm in roofing, do I even bother going and digging into their emotions, or am I just straight up intellectual?
No, it's through qualification because you have to recognize that there's levels to the game, right? As an example, if a roofer's making 250,000, you can push negative report, right? Because while this is great margins, they're operating on 30%, putting them just like as normal wage. And it is start the business to be a wage. Right? And you also have to recognize that there's economies of scale, the margins will increase dependent, like as revenue increases and they have more business, economies of scale kick in, the margins are higher. So at the lower end, you can utilize it, but ask questions carefully. However, more often than not, you will be bumping into intellectual buyers, to which other laws are a lot more necessary than negative report.
And when I do bump into these intellectual buyers, how do I go about selling them?
By utilizing other laws, but the main focus, I mentioned this previously, right? You need to come across as having 3 skills, right? Competence, it's not really skills, but competence. Okay, I'll say it's a skill because all of this can be trained. Conscientiousness and IQ. Now, what is competence? Competence is your ability to see a task. No, competence is your ability to have a problem in a foreign domain and be able to utilize skills from other domains in that one and fix the problem. That's a far end of competence, right? It doesn't always have to be that far, but look, give me a problem, I will fix it. I am competent. Give me a task, I will do it. I am competent. I understand how to do it. Conscientiousness is will you do the fucking work? Are you going to sign someone to just not do the work, or are you a hard-working individual, gets their shit done, business is business, personal is personal, it's all separated, this is just another fucking day in the office, right? Are you going to come across as, yeah, I'm really keen, we're going to do lots of fucking work, yeah, super excited, I'm going to make you into a millionaire, or, cool, we have the systems, we're going to go through A, B, C, D, rinse and repeat, we're not going to go to the moon, but we're going to make you more money than what you pay us, right? It's another day in the office, we're going to come in, we're going to smack it, don't worry about it. Right? Is it believable that you will do all the work? And IQ. IQ is all bullshit. Right? This is easily portrayed through wording. You can falsify the perception of IQ through wording, and this is all that you need to do in order to close the deal. Now, how you do this is all the laws that are around it. And you can pick 3 of the laws, and they will act into this. Right? But now, ask yourself a question. Would you guys all be happy, right, with having a business partner? Would you guys all be happy to have a business partner who is competent, conscientious, and has a good IQ? Anyone here against that? Yep. Exactly. And that's what you need to portray, and that's so many of you guys fuck up on that. You'll say, yeah, so what I'm going to explain to you, and I'm going to get into big detail, you overspeak, you fucking mumble, you mutter, you say, and then you add like a bitch, and you ask for permission, you say, it's and sorry, all this type of retarded stuff. It's another day in the office, you're good at what you do, and it's fairly simple. Right? Pay me, I get my work done. And so much of it is lost in the framing because of how you portray yourselves and how you come across. Wonderful. Mehmet.
Yeah, I just wanted to ask, 'cause obviously, going back to like the first law you was on about the convo versus checklist. Because obviously, what I've been doing right now is pretty much following the checklist, using the script. So am I gonna like adapt myself from getting away from the script and then adapting myself to the laws and like without a script and knowing understanding what I'm talking about, basically.
So, okay, let's go back. Let's go back to the point on what I was saying with. Let's call it value. Right? Value is one of the most important things. What is value? Right? Value is the quality versus quantity. How much can you pack in a little box? Right? Now let's split up. You discuss a script. The whole point of the script is to give a guide to get the answers that you need to facilitate the close. Right?
Yeah.
It's just working it through. But then, cool, let's split it up. You can discuss this. Right? You can split up a call, nice and easy, to discovery, or positive rapport, negative rapport, present the solution, negotiate. Correct?
Yeah.
Now, all you have to do is understand the principles over here. What value am I trying to take away from my prospect, and what value am I trying to emit to the prospect? Yes? Negative rapport. What value am I gaining by this, and what value am I trying to show? Presentation. What value am I trying to take away? What am I trying to show? In other words, what is the script trying to get me to achieve? Once you are able to comprehend that, you don't need a script. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so you want to like understand each stage you're at, so you know the right questions instead of following a checklist. You know the right questions off your head, so you understand where you're at.
It's not even the question. It's further than the questions. What do I gain by asking the question?
Okay.
Right? I'm going to give a retarded example. Let's talk about pickup lines. Now, I hate fucking pickup lines. Not that I hate them. They're stupid. Right? But then sometimes guys will tell me, oh, what do I text this girl? Blah, 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 blah. Right? There was a guy that I know. This was yesterday. He met this girl, picked up her number, and he's like, hey guys, what should I tell her? What should I text? No one responded. This is a stupid question. He's like, I'm thinking to text, hope you got home safe. Right? So, get home safe. What is this showing? Yes, he's not interesting, he's not ambitious, He's not interesting. He can't think on the spot. He's just a boring guy. He's looking to show that, he's looking to show that he cares about her, even though he doesn't fucking know her, right? In other words, in my words, exactly to him, you sound like a cock. Yes? Because what is being portrayed here? Because it's not get home safe. What does get home safe mean? Right? What are you trying to say, and what does that say about you? Now, I told him something retarded. Like, I literally told him to add to it, say something. I was walking by the streets, I saw a nice a set of Japanese peaches, and then I thought about you. Hope you got home safe. Right? It's retarded. It's out of the blue. It's showing that you're willing to take risk. Right? It's showing that you're interested and you don't really care that much. Now, is it a perfect text? No, not at all. Is it much better than what his message was? Yes. Right? Because now, don't look too much into the texting. What is that bit? What is that bit? What am I showing and what am I getting? Right? Exact same thing with the presentation. Right? Now, we're going to move on to the presentation, going on to one of our next rules. It's going to be all over the place, I'm not going to fucking remember all 25 rules. Right? It works well with what we're doing now. Yeah? Solution 7. Right? A bunch of you here have heard the whole stance that you don't sell the service, you sell the results. Right? Have you guys heard this before?
Yes.
Yep. But I guarantee you don't know what the fuck it means. Yes? I have a 4-step process. Yes? And if I told you to sell the results, you guys would just keep going on and how this gets the results. Yes? What you have to do is I don't know how to say that word, compartmentalize. It's what I sort of say. Right? I'm going to separate it into 4 stages. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? Here is my solution. Right? I will discuss the first one and how it gets me closer to my solution. How my second one gets me even closer to my solution. I'm going to talk about them separately, but I'm highlighting this gets me closer. This one gets me even closer. This one here gets me even closer. This one here gets me my solution. Right? In other cases, it may be that these 2 steps get the solution, and these 2 steps here make sure we maximize all of the solution, with the nurturing, with the following up, all of that. But everything here, everything I discuss, all words that come out of my mouth are related to the fucking solution. We do not sell go high level features, because that is dog shit. We do not sell whatever fluff or bullshit you want to do. If it does not discuss how the algorithm gets us results, how the qualification gets us quality, how the nurturing reactivates and brings in money. Every word on your presentation has to be just connected to all of this, right? Now, at the same time, when it comes to the presentation, you're able to handle objections in order to further the solution, because you're now saying that this block doesn't apply to my solution. Over here, we won't get stopped here. Over here, we won't get stopped. And that's the typical objections that a prospect may have in your space. Right? So you pre-handle that on the presentation, because that furthers the solution. And it just handles any questions that they have in their head. It's much better to handle a question before it's been asked, rather than just answering every single question and being a know-it-all. Does that make sense? Wonderful. So, now when it comes to the presentation, the next thing, right, when it comes to, I don't know if this is law, I don't think it's the law, but it might be, because I wrote the laws a long time ago and I keep going over them differently, right? Show, don't tell, right? I'm not going to tell a girl that I'm rich. I'm going to show her my Lamborghini. What she fucking thinks of it, we'll go there. I'm not going to tell a girl how good my day was at business. I'm just going to rock up wearing expensive shit. Now, I don't do this, but that's the whole premise of the law, right? That's the whole premise behind the law. Yes, it's show, don't tell. I'm not going to tell you, look at it, we qualify. I'm not going to explain how we qualify. I'm going to have a fucking play button here and say, press play, qualification code. I'm not going to say, we run 72 ads and explain the whole fucking process. I'm going to show you. And all of you guys have these designs in the presentations that have been provided to you, right? I'm going to show you our 72 ads and how fucking amazing they are. I'll talk about it while showing. I'll talk about it while showing it to you. Right? It's show, not tell. And let the people come to their own fucking conclusions. The good thing is, the standard is set so fucking low in SMMA. It is impressive how shit everybody is. Right? Now, some of you are the good of SMMA, which is also impressive. Right? So all you have to do is implement these laws and you will knock everyone out the park. Right? Who here has hopped onto a call with somebody for accountability or role call, sales call practice? Right? How far away are they from understanding any of these laws and implementing that into what they need to do? Right? The only reason I was able to break down all of these laws, it's not like I pulled something out my ass and be like, what do we train? Right? I looked at everyone who I know who's at the same level as where I am or further. Right? Because we all do the same shit, we just do it differently. So what is it that we do that combine it? What is it? It's like a Venn diagram. Those of you who didn't go to fucking school because you're degenerates, you won't know this. This is a Venn diagram. Right? Now, Venn diagram pretty much says we have A, B, C. Right? These are all the features that they have. And in A, they have an overlaps. A and C have an overlaps of X, Z, T, D. Right? And I was looking, what is Z? Right? On a sales call, what are they doing and what am I doing in the presentations that are all the same? We're doing it differently, but what is the goal behind it? Right? What is the intent? What solution or what result are we trying to facilitate? Right? Because the method may be different, yes, but the result is always the same. So how are we doing that? What are we triggering? What's happening? What chemistry? Does that make sense? Right? Another way to put it, nice and simple, stupid. 2 plus 2 equals 4. 8 minus 4 equals 4. Two different ways to get to the same solution. What are the commonalities between here that make them both 4? Right? So that's what I looked at when it came to all of the rules. Right? Now, another super simple law, but the funniest thing is this law is so fucking effective. It is so effective. But no one does it because everyone's too fucking lazy. And it's such an easy thing to do. Right? I call it victorious vocabulary. Right? People are too insecure in themselves 99% of the time. I'm not like this, but I'm just a special type of human being. Right? People are too scared when they hear a new word to ask somebody, what does that word mean? I never heard it before. Out of fear of judgment. Right? I'm sure many of you guys have been in situations where people have vocalized a word, a phrase that you're not familiar with, and what you've decided to do is look at the whole sentence and try to take a guess on what's being said. Right? The annoying thing is, individuals with high vocabularies are just seen as intelligent. Now, I guarantee you have my word, there's no correlation to someone's fucking vocabulary and how intelligent they actually are. Intelligence is not a measure of vocabulary. People believe it to be. Yes? So you want to take advantage, right? It's your vocabulary. Now, I'm not talking about niche. We'll go into the niche next, right? I'm not talking about niche vocab, right? I'm talking about having variations on saying sales, nurture, failure, unqualified. Let's see. I don't know. Bunch of words, right? What words, right, on your sales presentation can you utilize and change? let's say as an example, handover. Rather than saying, once qualified, we will hand over the lead, what word can you replace with handover? What word can you replace when a lead is failed or unqualified? What can you say instead of nurturing the lead? Yes? It sounds so stupid, right? But when you pull out words like this, people genuinely, it's retarded. Believe you have a hierarchy. Now, I came to notice this, right? So back in the day, I never used to read. Yeah, never used to read. I used to like it as a kid, but then I stopped reading because people told me I was bad at it. I was the guy in class that would raise their hand to read for everybody else, but I was highly dyslexic, so I'd always fuck up the words and just change words and just like make my own variations of sentences without knowing it. People then told me I was a bad reader. I stopped reading. Right? Then I thought, fuck it, I need to read because knowledge is power. I started reading. I can now read one book a day. When I bother, I can just sit down and I'll finish an average book. So it's very important to read, and the reason for it is through your journey of entrepreneurship, you change a lot and you adapt. You grow, right? It's necessary because who you are today is not who you are trying to become. So you have to facilitate lots of changes, either organically or unorganically. And I've done this a lot in my life. I've gone through extreme lengths. And over a period of 3 months, it was a very long time ago, over a period of 3 months, I just saw everybody treating me differently. And I couldn't fucking figure it out. Right? It's as though everyone had to stick up their ass when they spoke to me because now they were listening, now they were observing, now they were questioning and treating me with a lot more respect than what I was previously getting. And I couldn't fucking figure it out. I was like mulling my head over it. And I put down everything that I was doing. Like, what did I do before? What did I do after? And there was one difference. My dumbass started to read. Right? I just picked up the ability of reading very quickly and absorbing a lot of information. And all of a sudden, out my mouth, right, came value. Right? But not only value, different ways to admit the value and different ways to structure sentences. And thanks to that, how I'm perceived dramatically changed. Because all of a sudden, very fucking well spoken. It's not like I've magically created a formula on how to formulate words. I've just read different ways. The shit's written by authors who just read a lot. Right? Now, all of a sudden, people change how they see me. People change how they interact and speak with me. It's got nothing to do with me. I just accidentally just started to read a lot. Without coming to any conclusion or consensus before doing so, or like a projected consensus on what the result of reading would be. Right? Now, I'm relatively confident that you guys would say I'm quite well spoken. Yeah? I used to speak way worse than all of you. I thought I was like one of those cool kids, like, in it, what are you saying? Blah, 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 blah. Like, all my language was slang. It was disgusting. Like, I heard a voice note, like, when you have the voicemails, right? I heard myself as a kid, and the voice note was the most embarrassing, disgusting thing. It wasn't English. Right? It was just like pure slang, me thinking I was talking. Right? Vocabulary will make the biggest difference, and there's two ways to do it. It's either reading or just do the word of the day. There's like three things. You can either start reading the correct books, not Harry Potter, not fictional books. You can just have a list of words that you want to start learning when it relates to a sales call, or one of the better ways to do it is just have the word of the day. It's something that you can get emailed to you, and you just make sure that you utilize that word of the day. Because this will go into your whole life and you just make it like that. And what books What books do I recommend? Yeah. Pick up any book that is non-fiction, that is a book I recommend. Wonderful. Sufyan.
So, how much importance would you actually place on reading, like outside of just the vocabulary that you learn and like how you construct sentences and stuff like?
I haven't been able to find anything else that has a stronger ROI.
Okay.
Because of it's a second order consequence of reading. Do you know what second order consequences are?
Yeah, so it's not like the direct consequences of what happens after, yeah.
But it also, now I'm a retarded case where I can just read a lot and absorb a lot of information quickly, right? But the fact is, Sonia, we have a version of you which is you now, happy but dumb. Right? Now we have another version of you that is happy and dumb, and he's read 1,000 books on. Okay, let's not even say 1,000. Let's say 100. Right? 100 books on finance plus money. That's all you decided to read. Who is more likely to become a millionaire?
The one at the bottom.
Are you trying to become a millionaire?
Yeah.
So why the fuck aren't you reading finance and money books?
I am.
How many have you read?
Front to back, yeah.
Is not a word. And is not a word either. Carry on.
Front to back, yeah.
Yes, front to back.
Probably between 20 and 30.
Not bad. But then maximize how much reading you do. Sales calls, the reason I say reading is the strongest ROI, because doing sales calls, different people will learn at different rates. Right? Joining programs, people learn at different rates. Cold calling, different people react differently to it. Reading is fucking knowledge. It's just pure fucking knowledge. Many people fuck up reading. They try to read for the sake of reading, like how many books can I read? But believe it or not, that's not the fucking point of reading. Like it's to learn something. Like I would rather a book takes me way longer to read, and I'm just like soaking in information. Yeah, just give me all the fucking information I can get from this fucking however many pages. Right? And that's when you start to gain from reading. And it makes reading a lot easier, and time goes way quicker.
Yeah.
Right? Now, we've been going through 45 minutes. Does anyone have any current questions before we move on to the other ones? Yep. Wonderful. So, now, who here has an accent? Whether you're African, Ethiopian, Eastern European, who here has an accent?
Yeah, I have accent.
Wonderful. So, Sky, you do not have an accent. You're South African. Different. Yes. So, I figured out how to counter the accent. It's really fucking easy. Right? Common sense. You have to just reverse engineer it. So, accent. What do people believe when someone has a strong accent? Just give me 3 points.
Yeah, like probably he's not trustworthy, he's a scammer or something like that.
Right?
Yeah.
Nice and simple. Niche knowledge. Genuinely niche knowledge. Easiest fucking thing to do. You can sit down and we have the niche knowledge done for you guys, right? All the niche knowledge you need, we have it. Yeah. All you have to do is be willing to be fucking bored for 4 hours, right? And absorb the niche knowledge. The more you have, the higher your conversion rate goes. Doesn't matter on the fucking accent. I can sound like this very, very much on every call. But if I'm telling you what the market change is, what the banks are doing to the real estate, what boom, 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 boom. If, as an example, let's say I am, okay, Russian accent is pretty fucking strong, and most people, I like Russians, most people don't, or don't trust them, whatever the fuck, right? Let's say I'm talking to real estate agents in Texas, right? So this is Texas. Let's just say Texas is split in this way, right? So I've got a Russian accent. Now, on the basis that I'm able to hop into a call with an agent and tell them just casually all the differences in all of these markets and how the trends are going to have an effect, right, on the work that we do, the work that the agent does, everything in between. Yes, I know what laws have been implemented specifically in the state, and I know how that's affected them. I understand what it means to be a realtor, the test that they took, everything inside out. Irrespective of my accent, will they believe I know what I'm talking about? Yes. Right? And the whole thing between accent, right, is to do with competence. Right? I do not believe that you have the competence / familiarity to get me the results that I'm looking for. Right? So all you need is niche knowledge, and that will counteract it, because who the fuck is going to do 4 hours of niche knowledge just to show someone they know the niche? Nobody. It's most likely that you have clients, you've worked in this niche, and you are familiar with how the market works. Right? Because who's going to assume you went a long way in order to get what you need? Right? Yeah, no.
Okay, you said you will give us the niche knowledge, but sorry?
Okay, Karen?
I'm in the ZAC program. It's called something Lion, LLC, I think. So where I can find that information?
By the end of today, design today, tomorrow, you're going to put it into my program, you have access to everything.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Alvaro!
I have my shirt on, huh?
Congratulations, you're not
Yeah.
on set.
So, where would you get the knowledge? In the course, books, YouTube, internet,
Yes.
Yes.
every of them?
Yes.
Okay.
As an example, right? Let's say that I wanted to start let's say I'm going into the med spa niche, right? I am not going to Google anything to do with fucking SMMA. I am not going to Google how to get med spa names, right? I'm going to Google how to run a med spa. And now I've got people who run med spas selling to other people who are trying to build a med spa. That's where I'm going to get all my knowledge from. Yes? I'm going to look at the wonderful lady who says 6-figure med spa life. Right? Or the day in the life of someone in a fucking med spa. And I'm just going to learn about everything that they do. I guarantee you there's going to be a med spa fucking podcast. I'm going to listen to all of it. There's going to be books on how to start a med spa. I'm going to listen to all of it. Right? I'm going to read the whole book. Yes? And because the barrier is so fucking low, right? And what it means, give me 2 seconds. Hello. I'm on a training call, everyone can see me on the phone. Is it cool if I call you back later? Thank you. Thanks. So sorry. The barrier to, it's literally all of you, who here has done what I've said previously? Done it to the amount that I would find respect. As a percentage, that is you guys are a representative of SMMA. Yes? So the fact that the bulk of you haven't fucking done it properly, yes, is indicative that the whole market hasn't done it properly. So how much of an advantage, whether you have an accent, whether you don't, will you gain on the sales call when you're just casually able to talk about the niche? Right? And I'm not just talking about the terminology, having an understanding on the value of the business, having an understanding on how the business operates on a day-to-day. Yes? It's going to make you come across as competent. Right? And that's one of the biggest things, one of the 3 biggest things that we are trying to portray to our clients. Right? I'm not on Bible. Right? Now, we're going to touch on this law. So, as I mentioned previously, there are 25 laws, yes? 24 of them, you need 3 of these laws. The one that is different, that does not apply, is an intellectual buyer, right? As I mentioned, an intellectual buyer is someone who is making a pure logical purchase. It is pure logic, nothing else. Right? And the whole reason for it is there is no emotion. They do not give 2 fucks about the 2 to 5K that you're going to charge them. They're looking in their bank account and they're saying, $, $, $. Where can I put the fucking $? Over there. right, to make more dollars, right? When someone is looking to see how their money can make more money, it is not an emotional decision. It is a logical decision. I will not be forced or tricked. I'm just trying to see what makes sense, right? Now, one thing you need to know, when you're dealing with an intellectual buyer, right? And then I'm going to just discuss about these laws and how I'm going to handle them for us, right? When you're dealing with an intellectual buyer, words are your biggest friend and your biggest enemy. Following that, questions. Right? Common fucking sense. Don't say like a fucking retard, like you're trying to say the vowels before every sentence. Yes. How words is what you need, right? Let's say I've got a sentence and it's got 12 words in that sentence. I need to make it 8. Let's say sentence with 8. I need to make it 6. The whole purpose is how can I package the exact same value into a smaller box? When you're able to articulate your point, your vision, your service, your product, your question in less words, in a more calm manner, right? People will see you as more intelligent, more competent, and someone who just understands what they're doing, right? As an example, let's say I'm gonna butcher this, but just to get a point across, right? Let's say you speak with Jeff Bezos, right? You said to him, what makes you your money? Right? What makes you your money? He's going to say affiliates. Right? An educated mind, right, will see that affiliates means this, right? And all of this shit, right, goes even fucking further down. You'll see when people are familiar with a product, or familiar with a philosophy, familiar with a topic, right? They will be able to summarize what they're saying into short words and recognize that the other party understands. Who here has ever been in a situation with friends? And so let's say you've got friends, and then most of you don't, but the ones who don't, let's imagine it, right? So let's say you've got some friends, right? And other people have come in to your local facility. Have you been able to say a few sentences and nobody else understands what you're saying except for those friends? Right? Exact same principle applies here. When you're dealing with intellectual buyers, the less you speak, they will understand what you are saying. Right? So when you can say it in fewer words, they will get it and you will just move on. It is a speed. I respect your time, I respect my mind, let's move quickly. Yes? The complete opposite to that, where most people fuck up because they get nervous because they're dealing with someone who's got some money. Right? They see them as some like stupidly a big figure. Yeah, so in our service, we're going to do this and we're going to do this. And the way that works is, let me over-explain and over-explain and over-explain. And just in case, let me just say it one more time. Did that all make sense? And you guys will do this so often. Right? You just open fucking garbage comes every fucking month. Yes? Quite literally, you do the opposite. What can be said in one sentence, you stretch it into 2, you then get fucking nervous, and you might stretch it into 3. If you're really shit, you're gonna make it 4. Then you're gonna overthink, and that's just gonna happen throughout the whole call. Right? So words are your friends. You need to use them very wisely, very selectively. Right? Scarcely. The next thing is questions. You know you're doing very well with an intellectual buyer when they ask you questions. The more questions they ask you, the better you're fucking doing on that call. Because an intellectual buyer, it's in the word, right? They are making a logical call, right? Now, this is money, right? This is a purchase. They want to know this arrow here. Is that going to break it? No. Next arrow, shooting forward. 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 They are testing your product and your service, and they want to know all the variables. If this happens, what does this do? If this happens, what does this do? If this happens, what does this do? Right? They will ask everything because it is a logical purchase. So anywhere where it doesn't make sense, or any problems, like they will hunt for problems to say, Does your service work for you? Does it not? What do we do in this case? My schedule is this. This is this. This is this. Because they're trying to see when they make money or when they give you the money, how much are they going to return? What variables are going to mean that it's a higher return or a lower return? Where are the problems going to be? Right? So over here, questions are your friend, and you handle them with words. Right? Short, brief, to the point answers. Do not justify your business model. Do not justify your service. Do not justify fucking existence. They ask a question, short answer, boom. Next question, boom. Next question, boom. Right? Full confidence. Oh, what happens if someone doesn't show up? Oh, that's perfectly fine. We typically just call them and make sure we book them back in. If they don't answer, we'll put them on a sequence, nurture them. Typically, they come back, but rest assured, we won't charge you. Shut the fuck up. As soon as you answer, you shut the fuck up. You leave them in silence to think of the next question. And you know you're doing well because there are lots of questions. Do not get nervous when asking these questions. It is a good sign. It means you're likely to close them as long as you answer the questions correctly. And do not leave any of the blanks. Right? Now, we have covered, I think, 4 or 5 rules. Right? There are 25 fucking rules. We are going to go into them in a lot of depth, right? I can talk about a law for some laws longer, and some laws a little bit shorter. The average law takes about 4 to 5 hours to go fully into, right? So I'm going to recap all of the laws because it's very useful. So we're going to spend the bulk of this week just going through all of the laws, and then each session we're going to go into a law and focusing on the 4 parts of a court, right? And how the laws are applied to each part, because some laws are more specific at the discovery, other laws are in the negotiation, other laws apply to the presentation, some apply to all 3, and how do you utilize them in order to close at a high ticket level. Right? And you guys have to understand that I'm actively using rules when I speak to you. Right? Because I have a lot to do and I need to leverage all of my skill sets through laws in order for you guys to comprehend it and allow me to keep the same frame that I'm holding. Right? So I'm using my laws in this case, and these laws apply to life. Right? One thing, I promise you, yes, there's going to be some of you, right? Now we're gonna play a game, right? And in this game, it's a picture game where you draw a picture. So, guys, what am I drawing? First one to say it is. What's that?
Chicken.
Chicken, wonderful. What's
Yeah.
that? Shit.
Chicken.
Chicken shit. Yes? So, chicken shit to do this in real life. And that's where you're gonna fuck up, right? Every single one of my laws, I say my laws, these laws apply to your real life, right? This is life, this is sales. You put a fucking wall between here and only practices here, you're fucked. Yes? I guarantee you, all of these laws are built for life to be improved, right? Because these laws are all based on perception, right? Perception frame, however the fuck you want to put it, which is one of the biggest things when it comes to entrepreneurship and being an entrepreneur. Yeah. Right? So, I need you guys to have no wall between here, right? Practice your vocabulary with the people around you. Negative report, go have fun. I once went to a party, I was bored. I did negative report on every soul in that fucking party. I met people, right? And I was like, hey, how are you? Introduction. And then darkness just fucking overburdened. One girl literally said, I was darkness at that party. I would go to every conversation really good, and then I made every single person question all of their life decisions, to the point where they just sat there and they're thinking, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. One girl I was speaking to, granted, I did this to guys and girls. One girl said, I know all of this, and we broke down to the truth, right? So I know all of this. She started crying. I just don't want to. I don't want to talk about it right now. It's like, what we need to see the truth. And I went fucking deeper, right? It's point home. call yourself whatever, wake the fuck up. I take it too far. But you guys need to be applying this to your life because your life will get better. Your sales will then get better. Your life will then get better, and your sales will then get better. It's a wonderful effect that happens, right? So you need to be applying these things to your life. I don't believe there's one law that doesn't positively impact your life, right? Some laws are a lot more complicated, such as calculus calculated. We'll get into that another time because that's just a lot of maths very quickly. The only way to do that is getting familiar with it. It's like multiplication. The more you do, the better you get. But you also have to see it in different ways in order how to calculate it. But pretty much, I'm just here to shit on your brains, put in too much information, and then hope that you use 2% goes on a ticket. Wonderful. Does anybody? Okay, we got some questions. Zachary, do you want to come back here? Zachary? Yeah. Adrian.
So, in regard to these laws that you've made, I would love to go somewhere and be able to see these laws. Do you have them written down anywhere?
I'm so happy they're not written down because you guys read it the wrong fucking way. I have videos recorded on every single law, explaining all the laws in depth, and I've got further into laws on how they apply. So we've got lots of videos you guys will access to. Oh no, ¿qué pasa, amigo?
Ismael, I just wanted to say that this week and today I have figured all the pieces of the puzzle, right? And I think, basically I'm ready to sign new clients. Today I dropped Sarah, my shittiest client.
Yeah.
I cut a relationship with her.
Yeah.
Basically now I need I know what I need to know to start signing new clients, and I have all the confidence that I literally signed those 4 clients in 1 week because I work in the niche for 2 months as a realtor.
It's a fucking question section, not fucking introduction section. Guys, if you had a good day, I'm happy for you. We're fucking talking about work here.
I just wanted to say thank you. I have all the pieces now, and you have helped me a lot. I have to start signing new clients.
Fucking do it. Yeah, get to work. Wonderful. Alan, talk to me. Please don't do what he just said. Alan, talk to me.
Nah, I won't. But yeah,
on this other fucking word. Carry on.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, so for presentations, you mentioned the importance of quality, but you also mentioned is not a word. You also mentioned the fact that you should do what others are not willing to do. Some people may be lazy, putting extra stuff on. But what examples of that basically is what I was asking.
Nice and simple. I typically make the best fucking presentations because I'll sit the fuck down and I'll think populace. What the fuck is the populace not willing to do? Right? So my goal is, let's say, just for the sake of it, I'm splitting up into four parts, right? So I need to convey 4 different messages on my presentation, right? What do these things mean? Yeah? And how can I do it in such a manner, right, that no one else is going to be fucked to do it that way? After a certain point, it is redundant. And after a certain point, all you're selling is sex, right? When I say sex, it's the appeal to it, it's the allure, right? Food can only taste so fucking nice, so let's make this fucking restaurant the best looking restaurant there is, because we can't order anything else more expensive than what we've ordered. We've got A5 fucking Wagyu here, other places have A5 fucking Wagyu, we're now selling sex. Right? So, how can I sell sex to the best ability? Right? That portrays me as someone who's fucking amazing at what they do. Right? And what is a populace not willing to do? Does that make sense? That's how I look at it.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Now, Zachary is over here. Those that are in my program, we have an addition, we have merged with another program, which is Zachary Pasco's program, due to the fact that he is very good at automating service delivery. Right? My people is slightly spasticated, you're not very good at fucking qualifying. So Zachary's coming in, we've merged. so that you guys can just automate shit nice and easy. Right? Now, from Zachary's people, are you happy with me on sales?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Awesome.
You're shit at sales. Yeah. So Zach's just quickly going to introduce himself and do some talking.
So, shit at sales, yet I've signed about 20 of you fuckers in a month, so it can't be that bad. Let me just move this camera up. It's adjusted for people less than 6'3". Wow. How do you adjust it? Yes. Oh, beautiful. So, basically, all of the service delivery that you guys are doing will be taken care of for you. It doesn't matter what niche you're in. Service delivery is as simple as running ads, nurturing leads, converting those leads, which will change from niche to niche. It might be conversions as far as booking in quotes. Could be conversions as far as getting people in through the doors of your client's gym, or booked in for an appointment for some kind of consultation. Could be booked in for a sales call. It doesn't really matter. It's lead nurturing and then conversion, and then actually getting paid for that. 90% of your money in all of your businesses as an FMMA owner is going to be on the back end. Does this make sense? You can only collect the setup fee once. After that, all of the money that you're going to collect from your client is going to be on the back end. The back end is going to be completely built out by me. Best in the business, without a doubt, from funnels to lead nurturing to lead conversions. Yeah. Basically, when you guys are on your sales calls, I don't want you selling with the confidence that you probably lack. I want you selling with the confidence that I have, because the results that you're getting from the client, they're there. They're guaranteed. It's not going to be you doing the service delivery. It's going to be me coming in, handling the service delivery. Results are going to happen. Make sense?
Wait, one caveat, right? Let me just pop in here. So I'm just going to pop in here at a great height.
Fucking tippy toes.
Yeah, at a great height, which is how high. Yeah. So, one caveat is shit clients, right? So I've worked in multiple niches, and the fact is there is competition. So you guys have to recognize this. You may have the best campaigns, qualified leads, all of this, right? I've sent real estate agents to homes, to people's fucking homes where they want to sell, right? Then I get a fucking call from the realtor 2 years later. Ismael, I met them. It was all going well, but now I'm blocked. Why have they blocked? What happened to this lead? Yes. Then I have to explain this dullard cunt. Yes, in a very passionate way, that they are shit at what they do. And the only reason that they're blocked is because they're not as good as the fucking other realtors. Same with roofers. Right? I booked face-to-face appointments and the fucking roofers did not show up. Right? So recognize that it will not always go well because we are trusting other people. Now, depending on the niche, it doesn't apply. Gym niches, much better. If it's a good gym, it's a fucking good gym. Right? But it will not always work out because of how shit your client may or may not be, but you'll recognize that on a sales call. Right? Because some of you guys will sign retarded people that you shouldn't be signing. But you're new. So yeah. So,
the only niche that's going to be a huge issue for is real estate. Other than that, I want to get you guys selling before the client. I want you, when you get paid will be before your client can possibly fuck it up.
But retention.
Retention will still be an issue. We'll solve that in the future, but basically from the advertising side of things, that's on you guys and me. And then what's up with the white?
You're too white.
Pink.
You're too white.
Put on blue.
No, the red is white.
The red doesn't work? Oh, okay. Can we do blue?
No. It's current.
Do that good?
Not really. It's not actually.
You have advertising, you have lead nurturing, and you have conversions from the lead nurture into booking in some kind of appointment. And then from there, your client takes over. We want to get paid before your client takes over so they can't fuck up how you guys are getting paid, right? If you guys are getting paid for closed deals, which is way down the back end, you're 100% relying on your client's skill. So what we want to do is bring it in just a little bit and get paid as close to what they want without having to rely on them. And as long as we're getting them results, and I have no doubt about this, as long as we're getting them results, you guys are getting paid. Yeah? Adrian.
So if I'm getting these guys 15 booked quotes a month and they don't close anything, that's on them.
So 2 things. You will still get paid for that because that's what you're charging for. You're delivering on the service. And yes, that is on them. However, they might fuck off after 1 or 2 months.
And is that fine?
It's going to happen. If your clients can't close and they're paying for marketing and they're paying for sales calls, right? But they can't close, that's on them. Like, think of it like this. If you hired a cold caller and you suck at sales,
if you hired a dating agency and your ass can't get laid, they've organized dates and you're not getting laid, whose fault is it?
It's the same thing.
The woman rock up, but you can't rock up, right? So it's your fault, and you have to say that because they're the most beautiful creatures on this earth.
Half of them have never spoken to a woman in their life. It doesn't resonate. Like Adrian, the gentleman's question you're answering, 100%.
What the fuck are you talking about, bro?
You show up to every call. You know what I'm talking about.
Nah, you're tweaking.
Oh, definitely a virgin.
Yeah.
1000%.
No doubt.
Yeah.
So let me apply this to something you guys will all understand, even the virgins, like Adrian.
Bro.
If you guys hire a cold caller and they're booking in calls and you can't close them, that's on you, not the cold caller.
It looks like the kind of guy that will try and convince his cousin it's okay to fuck.
That's worse.
What are we talking about here?
You. Ju?
Oh, it's JT. Yeah, just call me JT. It's perfectly fine. So in the, let's say in the real estate niche, should I, like, in the offer, should I charge them for appointment instead of closing? Like that's.
I will leave offer creation to Ismael and his team.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said not real estate. Like, is that not good niche? Like, you say other niches better for you, like on the service delivery side.
Look, every niche has its pluses and minuses. It doesn't really matter. You can have success in absolutely everything. Doesn't matter. It's what battle do you want to fight? Just pick it and go.
All right.
As far as communication with me goes, how many people? 10 have clients?
Where's one?
Luis? Yeah. I haven't told them about these yet. How many people have clients? About 10?
No idea.
No idea? Can you put your hands up if you have clients? Virtual hands?
This is more from us than the initials.
Okay. So about double what this is?
A bit more.
Okay. I'll let you guys know about the calls that we'll be having. We'll have some one-to-ones so I can get caught up to speed on what you're doing and fix all the shit that you have going on. And then it will be moved into group similar to this, but for service delivery, might change. I'll see what works best.
16 muscles.
16?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Who has questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask. You know what the service delivery I got, because I've already launched the ads. Are you gonna like take over that, or like you're gonna go through that, or just keep it? Like, what's that?
You're already caught up to speed, Matt. You and I have already been working on it. We've had some one-to-ones. You're caught up to speed. We will have a call about further down the funnel.
All right.
Sam.
Yeah, there's a lot of regulation around advertising. I know about in the UK for like med spas and aesthetic procedures. Should we just give you a document with that, or do you understand that? Or
The regulation is around advertising, not so much lead nurturing. The advertising is essentially going to be done for you. Is that correct? Yeah. Don't worry about the ads. We've got it covered. On the onboarding, Sam, if you want to ask your clients if there are any laws, rules, regulations we should be aware of, you can ask them that. But we're gonna have it covered. Nothing to worry about.
I only say because I had one guy and he was saying that he doesn't believe he can do any advertising, and I didn't want to say, yeah, that's bullshit, but like he seems to have that ingrained belief that they aren't allowed to do a whole bunch of stuff.
No issues. We're good.
Cool.
What's his name?
Ellie.
For the lead nurturing, are we the ones doing that?
Yes. The systems will be there, the framework will be there. The outbound texts are automated, but when leads respond and they need human-to-human contact, they have a question, that will be you. When you're calling the leads, that will be you. Everything else is built out. JT.
Oh, can we use like your testimonials for website, or if we like just like during the sale, they may, like I've had people ask me what my website is. I haven't made that yet. But like I see other websites with testimonials.
Don't worry about a website.
All right.
Tells them that if they really want, they can go and walk around town and pay people $5 to make a quick testimony. It works.
Did you hear that?
What was that? $5?
I had a client, he was in the roofing space. He would go around and pay people $5 for Google reviews.
Go walk around downtown, pay people for testimonials. $5.
Okay. All right.
That was the advice. Next question. Adrian, the virgin.
Dude, you gotta go on my DMs, bro.
What's up?
So I heard that, well, basically last call, there's gonna be presentation templates, but Friday you had said that perhaps you're building these out for us, but I don't know, are they being built out, or are we just going in and plugging in our information?
After we see the DMs, feel free to share a screen. I want to see this information.
This fucking guy, dude.
No. So please share a screen. We're keen to see your DMs.
I don't have fucking Instagram on it's on my phone. Dude, I knew I was gonna get shit on anyway. Get the fuck out of here, dude.
Look, it's fine. Ishmael might want to. I don't want to see the DMs with the dudes you're talking to. We'll move on. Presentation. You came from my program. We need to get you brought into this officially. The sales side of things, presentations will be provided. I'll give you an ETA very soon.
Cool. Thank you.
Any other questions? Wonderful. You have anything else? No?
Call them all cocks attempting to get work.
You're all cucks. Get to work, start cold calling, sending emails, whatever outreach you guys are doing. Those of you who have clients, I'll be in contact with you.
Yeah, Zach, I just wanted to ask, when we get access to Ismail's course, or like his whole system or whatnot?
So yeah, all the forms?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Those of you that have come from my program, check school. I'll put an onboarding link in there. Fill it out. It'll happen.
All right.
Cool. All right, guys. Get to work. See you tomorrow.
All right, respect.
There you go.
Cheers.